Spoiler warning. The following discussion will contain spoilers. We recommend checking out the movie first, then coming back to hang with us. But if you don't care about that, glad to have you here.
Jason.
All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of The Real Review. My name is Kevin.
And I'm John.
And we are the Real Movie Guys. Welcome to Real Terror Month, a series where we discuss movies that will send chills down your spine. On today's episode, we'll be taking a look at Friday the 13th, A New Beginning. Still haunted by his past, Tommy Jarvis, who as a child killed Jason Vorhees, wonders if the serial killer is connected to a series of brutal murders occurring in and around the secluded halfway house where he now lives. So, John, we're back. Another Friday the 13th movie. How's it feel to be back?
Great.
Fantastic.
Amazing.
Right. So,
it can't get any better.
So, going into this movie, did you know anything about A New Beginning before going into it? Now, I know you're not familiar with the franchise. We've established this earlier on, but did you have any idea what to expect with A New Beginning?
No, I just thought it was going to be Jason comes back, as he usually does.
All right, so you expected
odd ways.
A resurrection of Mr. Jason Voorhees in this movie.
Yes.
Well, I'll let you know right ahead, and everyone at home, Jason Voorhees is not in this movie. We're starting all over again, people. We're starting from the beginning. We just got Jason. We just got the best version of Jason. A New Beginning takes Jason away.
It's like the restart of everything again.
Seriously, let's go into the positives, right? So this movie had an interesting concept off the bat. We have Tommy Jarvis now. You know, he's an adult. He goes to a halfway house to live with a bunch of new people. So that's an interesting setup we haven't really seen before, right? And then we also have the looming presence of Jason, right? He's still suffering like a PTSD from the Jason attack. You know, that he killed Jason in the last movie, so he's still suffering from that. We had an interesting concept, right? We had people getting killed, we had a masked killer, and the assumption was it was Tommy Jarvis the whole time, right? Or Jason or Tommy Jarvis. We weren't sure which of the two.
Yeah, that's what we all thought.
That's what we thought. That's not what we got. Yeah, this movie's bad. I'm so sorry. It's really hard to talk about this movie when there's such disappointment. Jason Voorhees not being in this movie, it causes a lot of issues, right? The marketing of this movie, even initially, was a problem when this movie came out, because everyone thought, you know, Jason, when you see Friday the 13th, they presented that Jason was going to be in this. When it's revealed that it's not Jason, it's just some random guy who's angry, is the new killer. People were pretty pissed off at the time.
That medic guy.
Yeah. There's so many things wrong with this movie. There's so many things. Before I even tear it down, did you like anything about this movie? Was there any positives that you actually really enjoyed about this movie before we start going into why it didn't work?
I mean, I felt like some of the kill scenes were decent.
Right.
Like they had like a couple good ones in it.
Mm-hmm.
But for the most part, I felt like when we first watched the first Friday the 13th movie.
Right.
And then you're just disappointed at the end because Jason's not even part of it. And you're like, well, I feel like Friday the 13th is like Jason. And this is kind of like almost like a telling of a different story with a different guy almost.
So let's say, up until the reveal, were you enjoying this movie or no?
No.
Because did you know it wasn't Jason, or you just assumed it wasn't? Or
no, I figured it wasn't Jason because they never showed like him coming back to life like they've been doing in the other ones, or him making like an appearance or anything. Everything was like just off and fishy about it.
It was off. It was, that's the best feeling I can probably, associate with this movie, is it feels off. The only thing I actually do like about this movie, the other positive, is I do like the blue mask design. Just throwing that out there. I thought that was kind of cool. A little different, worked as a reboot. I could have seen that as something in the future, but again, this movie just doesn't work. So I'm diving right in. I'm sorry. Can't hold it back anymore. We got to start talking about this. This movie, I think it thinks it's Scooby-Doo for adults. right? It has literally has a Scooby-Doo mystery plot. Like, oh, who's killing all these teenagers? Who is it? Oh, is it Tommy? Is he the killer? Is it Jason?
Is it you,
No.
Shaggy?
It's literally, the reveal of this movie is literally an ambulance driver. That's literally who this is. So earlier on in the movie, one of the kids gets killed by one of the other kids at the camp, right? He gets stabbed in the back with an axe.
Well, if that's the way you feel, forget it, Vic. Just forget it. But I think you're really out of line.
Kind of a cool kill. In a way, you know, it's surprising, I guess, kind of off and surprising. Apparently, the big twist of this movie is that new Jason, or fake Jason, as I like to call him, fake Jason was the father of that random kid, and when he saw that just pushed him over the edge.
The kid who was axed to death at the woodpile was Roy's son. God only knows why Roy kept it hidden all these years, but he did. Roy was a real loner. Never talked much. Not even to the other paramedics. I guess when he was called to the scene and he saw that it was his own Joey all hacked to pieces.
Again, we're getting so convoluted here. It's not even funny. He goes around murdering everybody potentially involved with it because he's angry his son was murdered.
We also found these. I guess he used the Jason thing to cover up with.
That's the best they could come up with. You know, it sucks because we talked about it in the last review where we talked about Tommy finally maybe becoming like the new killer, the new, you know, there was a setup in the last movie, right? We ended it with maybe Tommy is the new killer, and New Beginning, it should have just ran with that. I think if it ran with that concept and trying to be like a Scooby-Doo murder mystery movie, I think that would have worked significantly better.
Yeah, well, it almost seems like they felt like they couldn't do the Tommy being the murderer so early that they had to throw this in before it, and it was kind of a waste.
Well, it's even worse because, like you said, this is almost like we had Jason Begins. It's like Tommy Begins. They have a scene at the end of the movie where he's been seeing Jason throughout the whole movie. He has like these weird PTSD visions of Jason, and at the end of the movie, you know, he sees Jason, and he finally clears Jason from his head. And he grabs the fake hockey mask out of the drawer. And the movie ends with like a slow-mo of him trying to kill Pam when she enters the room. So stupid. Like, just do that in the first place. Just have him be the killer in the first place. You could have had something kind of creative here.
Also, what this movie has that the other ones had too, keep having these people are dreaming and people die in their dreams. And then all of a sudden, like, doesn't happen.
I've said that earlier on that I'm sick of that happening, and this movie just intensifies that times 1,000. We're not even into the next movie, but when we get to the next one, there's a reason why I don't like the dream sequence, and this is one of the movies I would point to as an example why it's so stupid. It was stupid then, and it's even worse now. What else don't we like? Uninteresting characters. All of them are terrible.
You don't set a place for a dead person.
I said I was sorry.
Every single person in this movie is terrible. There's not a single person I found redeeming. Tommy might be even the worst character out of all of them.
Oh
Tommy,
my God.
he has like 24 lines, I think, of dialogue in this entire movie.
Kid's a real talker.
I noticed. How'd they diagnose it?
Severe trauma at age 12. Brutal self-defense, murder of a psychopathic killer. Boy, they've given him every treatment, every therapy they can think of. It's a wonder his mind isn't fried with all the drugs they've given him.
When he does speak, I want to turn off the movie because it's so freaking terrible.
Run, Tommy, run! Run! He'll kill you!
Jason?
Listen to me! Run! Go! Tommy, get up! Get
Jason?
up! Listen! Oh, Tommy, go! Run!
Don't.
Not even that, he has like, he knows karate.
Fuck you, lunatic!
For some reason, he like just like starts beating up people knowing karate out of nowhere. It makes no sense.
Listen, he's a kung fu master.
Apparently, he's a mask. He can make masks, and he's a kung fu master, which they try to bring back. They kind of like just mention that he made masks, but they don't try to tie anything together.
Don't.
You don't have to get all twisted out of shape about it. I mean, you act like you made these things or something.
I did.
Solid.
They don't even develop Tommy any further. We just know he's upset because he saw Jason when he was a kid. He almost got killed. That's his only like defining feature, and that he doesn't talk. And not even that. The cast around him is uninteresting, and maybe it did do its job because I wanted them all to die. I didn't really care. I was like, just kill all these people. All the teens are either a cliche or some kind of weird stereotype. None of them are good. There's the angry guy. There's the stupid guy. There's the party girl. There's the two people that just want to have sex. Again, they're just stereotypes. I don't even care to know their names. I really don't. I didn't care. I was just happy for them to die. There's the hillbillies.
Now, Sheriff, you better hear me and hear me good. I want this loony bin closed down. You hear me, fella? Now, these kids ain't nothing but trouble. They don't respect others' property, and they're all crazy.
You tell him off!
For whatever reason. Why are they in this movie, you know? They have greasers. They're freaking greasers in this movie.
I'm telling you, Pete, this is bullshit. This really sucks. Just do it. Fix it, man. Those cunts aren't gonna wait all night.
For no reason.
Seriously. It's one of those movies that you wish you didn't watch too.
It is. It's one of those movies I wish I could just wash out of my brain.
Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again.
This movie was more stupid than usual.
Yeah.
As far as a horror movie, I mean, every horror movie's stupid, right? Let's be honest. There's always stupid. Everyone's way more stupid than usual, making terrible decisions for no reason. Nothing about this is endearing to me. Going into that, it's boring. This movie is extremely boring. There's scenes where nothing happens for a very long time, and the kills, get into my next big problem, the kills aren't that good. There's maybe a couple that are serviceable, right, I'd say. Two in particular, I don't know if we're thinking about the same ones. Maybe, maybe not. I guess we'll get to that a little bit later. But the majority of it is terrible. And the worst part about it is maybe the kills could have been interesting, but the director, who I want to credit here, Danny Steinman, this was like the only theatrical film I think he made. It was like his last theatrical film because this was so bad. He only made porn before this movie. That was his only like claim to fame, I guess, if you would call it that, was porn. And that shows because there's a ton of awkward nudity in this movie. But again, I'm spiraling. I apologize. Going back to my main point, The kills could have been okay. The problem is the camera zooms in awkwardly every time there's a kill. You don't really see anything.
It's
when
very
someone
weird.
gets stabbed, it zooms in really close to their reaction, or it shows a really terrible effect. The one greaser kid who gets killed, he shoves a flare into his mouth.
Cut it out. Pete.
It looks so bad. And you couldn't see it because the camera was obscuring the actual kill.
Yeah, that was weird.
Or the one girl who lives at the halfway house, the girl who knows how to dance, does the robot and stuff like that, because we needed that in this movie. He gets stabbed in the stomach with a knife, and it looks like someone stabbed a pillow. Like, you zoom in on her face instead of zooming in on the gore. If you can't do the story right, or you can't give us something, you gotta use something else. Horror movies always fall back on that. This movie couldn't do that. It couldn't make up for its lack of anything else, at least with good violence.
Yeah, and there wasn't even that much of it to begin with either.
No, and then cycling back, there's tons of nudity in this movie. Tons of nudity, and I have no problem with it. It is what it is. It's fine. But the problem I do have a problem with this kind because it's uncomfortable, and everyone looks extremely uncomfortable in this movie. The one girl just randomly shows her boobs out of nowhere. She's in the diner.
Oh yeah,
getting ready, and she's like, "Showtime!"
It's showtime.
She just flashes. Why? Or when Tina is in the forest, waiting for her boyfriend to come back after having sex, because apparently he has to shower after having sex in the lake or whatever, that's weird too.
Yeah,
it's a really long. I can't even show that in this review. There's a really long take of her just being naked, for no
just sitting
reason.
there being naked,
just literally being naked for no reason. And I wish I could even say it was shot well. Nothing in this movie is shot well. This director is terrible. There's probably porn that's better than this movie. That's shot more competently than this movie.
Well, yeah, I feel like the only scenes that he actually shot well was his porn scenes.
Yeah, and even those weren't that good considering.
Yeah.
You gotta have something to compensate for something else. You have to try, if you can't excel at one, you gotta excel at least one thing to be considered at least somewhat competent. And at least for me, on all counts, this movie fails everywhere. Honestly, I feel like, is it trying to be a comedy? Because it's not doing that. I'm not getting that at all in this movie. I'm laughing uncomfortably, if anything. Or is it trying to be a mystery? Because it's terrible at the mystery, because you could figure out who Jason was pretty much right away. The killer, Roy, as soon as he's looking at the dead body of the kid who gets murdered, he looks up and stares menacingly at the camera. Gee, I wonder who that could be. Not even that, he has bright baby blue eyes, and so does Jason has bright baby blue eyes too. Who are the only other it wasn't even a mystery. Stop.
Or when he's talking to the cop, and the cop was talking to himself, and he goes, "Oh, are you talking to me?"
Yeah, you talking to me?
What the hell's going on here? You talking to me, Sheriff? Huh? I thought you was talking to me. No, Roy, it's okay. Go ahead. Get them out of here.
I'll give it one other small positive is I thought the end was okay, right? I mean, the end Jason fight, if you can call it that, fake Jason fight. There was just one funny part where they have the machete chainsaw fight. It was so awkward. And another director maybe could have made it interesting, but this movie was so awkward and uninteresting that it couldn't make the machete, the chainsaw, exciting to watch. That should tell you something right there. If you can't make that interesting in your movie, you gotta quit. I'm sorry. There's no hope for you in this. in horror movies or any kind of movie at that point. If you can't make someone with a machete and a chainsaw, if you can't make that interesting. Like I said, this was a really bad detour for this franchise, and it won't be the first. Like I said, yeah, there's a lot more to come as far as, detours, if we call them that, in the Friday the 13th franchise. I think a big part too, when I was talking about earlier about like the gore and the sex, the director, they had a hard time getting this to an R rating, so that could explain some of the awkward zoom-ins. They were just trying to crop footage just to, try and avoid that X rating, that no one would see this movie. The X rating movies really don't exist, as far as theatrical release. I think that was part of the solution, was just doing awkward zoom-ins and stuff. It didn't work, though. It's just bad. If that's what you have to do to try and avoid it, then you need to pick a different director. I think we're at that point, though, where we're going to issue our Real Kill Award. Due to the nature of the season, myself and John will now select a recipient of the Real Kill Award, a special award given to the kill we think is the highlight of the film. John, who would you like to award your real kill for the film to?
My real kill goes to Eddie when he gets the thing tied around his eyes,
right,
and then starts tying it and cranking it. Like that's such a an awesome way to kill somebody.
Yeah, I would say
done very well.
Right, it is. Out of all the kills in this movie, mine not included, that was definitely one of the more interesting kills and different things I haven't seen in the franchise. Just really ugly and sounded gross, and it just looked really gross. I'll give them props for the makeup being as terrible it is in this film. That was actually a really pretty well done shot. I'll say that. Maybe the director didn't do that. Maybe that's why it was so good. I don't know. But
maybe.
Again, it was a really cool scene. Just, the fact his skull being crushed by a belt.
Oh, yeah.
Against a tree is just, ugh. I would like to present my Real Kill Award to Tina getting the sheer scissors to the head. I spoke about earlier how they don't really show a lot of the violence in this movie, or they do weird close-ups. This is the one where I think it worked out, if that makes any sense. So, setting it up for you, you got Tina on the ground, she's just staring up at the sky, la-di-da-di-da, all naked and stuff. And then you just see Jason overhead with a pair of shears, or fake Jason, and stabs her in the head. And they cut away, but you hear that noise. And then her boyfriend comes back, and he discovers her body, and you just see where the scissors stabbed and got opened in her skull. And that's just a major, that was a major, gross scene. It works because you don't see the actual action of it.
I mean, I could see where you're coming from, where you don't see it, it works. Yeah, definitely.
It adds something maybe to the imagination of everything, right? Were there any other kills that you thought were fine in this movie, or are there any bad kills that you want to talk about?
I actually thought the one where Ethel, she gets stabbed, through the window, and then she kind of crushes, the tomato in her one hand, and her head falls, inside her soup.
You talk. You dumb?
Oh yeah, she gets.
I thought that was actually a pretty. Yeah, I thought that was a pretty good kill.
That's an interesting one. I'll give you that. Not particularly something I would have enjoyed, but I would like to really talk about the bathroom kill. Reggie, the little kid in this movie, who has the best scream in the movie, screams like a little girl. That was hilarious. I give him that. Reggie's brother comes into town. We needed that subplot for some reason. And he's in the bathroom trying to take a dump.
You gonna get it, bitch.
Or whatever. And his girlfriend's outside teasing him, and she gets killed. And then fake Jason just stabs him through, they're singing to each other.
Ooh, baby. Hey, baby. Hey, baby.
Ooh, baby. Ooh, baby. Ooh, baby. Ooh, baby. Ooh, baby.
It's the most awkward thing I've ever seen. He could just stab through the back. It was so stupid. I was like, what is this scene? What is this kill? What am I watching? I think it represents the film on a whole, because this movie is literally diarrhea.
It's a porta potty.
This is diarrhea of the mouth, the constipation of the brain. I think we're at that point, though, where we're going to give our final scores. I'm going to give Friday the 13th, A New Beginning, an F. This movie sucks on every level. I wish I could forget it. I wish it wasn't an entry in the franchise. If you like it, let me know in the comments why you like it. There are some defenders of this movie. I don't know how you can. There's nothing redeeming about this movie. Everything's done incompetently, even for a horror genre, even for a genre where horror movies essentially are bad movies to begin with. This movie does it worse. Everything it does worse. I couldn't find anything redeeming personally. I can't wait to move on to the next film. John, where do you stand with this movie?
I'll give this movie a D.
They call me Reggie the Reckless. No spider would scare me.
It was one of those movies that you just don't want to watch again. Got no rewatchability. The story was terrible. The movie together was bad. I just feel like it's one of those movies that are just
best forgotten and move on.
Done.
Well, the good news is we do have some more interesting things on the horizon. So make sure you stay tuned to the channel. We got a lot more reviews coming up that hopefully won't be about terrible movies. Fingers crossed. No promises.
We'll see.
So, John, where can the people find us at home?
You can find us on YouTube, The Real Movie Guys on YouTube. Like our channel, subscribe, watch our videos. Tell us your opinion in the comments, what you thought about these movies and other things the other movies that we've done so far throughout the whole Friday the 13th films. You can also find us on Twitter, at The Real Movie Guy on Twitter. You can also tweet at us, let us know your opinions about these two, and let us know that you're watching out there. And also, we're located on very many podcasting platforms, such as...
Yes, for your listening pleasure, we are also available in podcast form at iTunes, Spotify, Anchor, Google Podcast, Overcast, Breaker, Radio Public, and Pocket Casts. Be sure to give us a listen at any of those fine places. If you already are right now, hey, we greatly appreciate it. Just search Real Movie Guys. We should pop right up. I'd like to thank you all for joining us for this episode of The Real Review. My name's Kevin. This guy over here, he's John. We are The Real Movie Guys. Real guys, real movies, real thoughts. And don't worry, there are more scares to come as Real Terror Month continues. We'll scare you next time.
See ya.